Hello, Cleo.
Hi, Richard.
What film have you been watching this week?
I watched Thelma and Louise.
Yeah, right, because we read Gina Davis last week.
Yes.
And then I was just inspired to rewatch Thelma and Louise, having not watched it for... I saw it when it was in the cinema, so that was like 30 plus years ago.
I know, unbelievable.
It blew my mind. It was so much better than I remembered. And so I sent you a message saying, oh, God, it's amazing. You must watch it. And you did.
I did. That night.
Yeah, so let's have a conversation about Thelma and Louise.
Yes.
What did you think when you rewatched it?
Well, yeah, I thought, because it's so iconic, are we allowed to say the end?
I think it's kind of...
Okay.
Let's say this. If you don't know the ending of Thelma and Louise, stop listening and go and watch it now. Otherwise, it's going to be spoiled.
Yeah, stop listening, go and watch it, and then come and listen again. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Agreed.
That's enough of a warning.
So, yeah, it's iconic in that the ending is what totally stays in my mind and the general gist of the journey. But I'd forgotten all of the detail, all of it. Had you?
I remembered the key scenes, but I think what I kind of didn't remember is the underlying drama, but also those two essential performances from Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon.
Yeah.
Which actually, on rewatching, blew me away. I think I had a different appreciation. I don't know if it's because I'm older now and I maybe get the film more, or maybe as a younger film watcher I didn't appreciate the acting as much. But that was two of the best performances I think I've ever seen.
Oh my God, they're so real.
Yeah.
They just literally are, those people.
I know.
It's so natural, it's unbelievable. But actually everybody in it is brilliant.
Oh, the supporting characters are great.
Yeah, it's two Tarantino actors before they were even massively famous.
Yeah, right.
Are they both Harvey Keitel and, what's his name?
And Michael Madsen.
Yeah, and it's Brad Pitt before he was... I thought, oh yeah, because we read Gina Davis, she tells us a young Brad Pitt had auditioned with George Clooney. He'd got the part though, Brad Pitt. And so I was expecting to see Brad Pitt, and I was like, is that Brad Pitt? He doesn't seem like... He's acting a whole different character. I would never have even known it was him. It's amazing. So he's great too.
I didn't remember him being in it as much. I thought it was basically just a scene of him hitchhiking and then the motel room. But actually, he's in a couple more scenes. He's great, actually. That's his first proper role. He's really good in it.
Yeah, and he's really acting a character that he isn't. So he's already showing he's really good. Of course, he's amazingly handsome. And now we know that Gina Davis' husband at home, who's a total arsehole, is her ex-fiancé, which is really cool.
Who she dumped for Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good. Actually, he's very funny in this. He's almost a bit like a comedic relief without being silly. It's such a good character, and he's so good at it.
Yeah, he's like a dumbass.
Yeah.
yeah, he's really good.
The defining of the characters, Thelma and Louise, I love that Thelma is kind of downtrodden with her abusive husband who doesn't...
Yes.
She even lies to him about going away for the weekend because he won't let her go.
Yeah.
And then I also love that conversely, Susan Sarandon, her partner, husband, whatever, is much more equal.
Is
and
positive.
Even when he knows she's in trouble...
Yeah.
And she wants money. He wires her money, but he literally goes there to see her to make sure she's all right.
Yeah, and there's actual love. So it's not an anti-man thing. It's we have some serious trouble in society and we need to change things. But it's not we hate men, which is good.
No, and I think as well, I really try to understand if they're heroes or anti-heroes, and you've got to think about it, the climate when the film came out. But I do still think that it's not, well, obviously they're not bad people, but everything that happens to them is because of men.
Yeah.
And I think that's an inescapable thing, and I think that's a thing that's kind of true in society. If you go into a woman's prison, a lot of the people are there because of things that men got them to do, or they retaliated to men.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I think that film kind of illustrates this. But do you know what we didn't talk about in the Gina Davis episode?
What?
The whole thing is about her being too polite to speak up for herself, and how she would learn through various roles of playing these kick-ass women, how that helped her grow.
Yeah.
And what we actually didn't mention is that she attributes a lot of her confidence to meeting Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, that's right. And she just was full of confidence.
Yeah, and when they're on set with Ridley Scott actually says to Gina Davis, all of these scenes of you in the car through the landscape to illustrate how free you feel. It would be really good if you took your top off as you were driving along.
Yeah.
They're having lunch and Gina Davis says to Susan Sarandon, Ridley Scott has asked me to take my top off. And she said Susan Sarandon just stops eating, stands up, walks right over to Ridley Scott's table and just says, Gina is not taking her top off.
Yeah.
She goes back, sits down at the table with Gina Davis, and Gina Davis never has to take her top off.
Yeah, right.
And Gina Davis said, I would never have done that. She's too polite.
Yeah.
And then she just watched Susan Sarandon do it, and then the case is closed. So she says she learnt a lot from Susan Sarandon on that film set about how she didn't have to do things.
Yeah, life's mimicking art there, though, isn't it? Right there.
Yeah.
And she's the one who shoots the rapist, the attempted rape of Gina Davis. And I tell you what, even though that's really extreme, you don't. It kind of seems justified, even when it was just attempted rape. But then later in the film, you find out that she's been raped, and they're so good how they just brush over it. They don't go into it. They don't do this whole drama. She just suddenly realises at some point. Gina Davis realises the character of Susan Sarandon. She goes, "Oh, that happened to you in Texas, didn't it?" She goes, "I don't want to talk about it." And then one other time it's mentioned, the policeman knows. And it's just such a small detail, but you then completely understand why she did it and what she's been through. You know, and then it makes you really support her. I love that they don't bang on about it. It's just there. It's just part of the fabric of the building up of the understanding of these characters, and you just support them. You just do. You can't help it.
And also just the awareness of the inequality, because Gina Davis says at one point, Thelma says at one point, oh, let's just turn ourselves in. They'll understand why we did it.
Yes.
And Louise is like, are you kidding? There's no proof that he did anything to you. We were two women in a bar. We were getting drunk.
Yeah.
You were dancing with him. Of course that was going to happen to us.
Yeah. Everybody at the bar saw them together.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to say you asked for that.
You led him on, yeah.
That's totally of its time, and that's really what that film helped to push. Not just the change, but just the discussions. People didn't even talk about this stuff.
Watching the film reminded me is the bit in the book where Gina Davis says that women often come up to her and said, oh, we did our Thelma and Louise road trip. And then when I was watching the film, I was like, wow, they shoot someone dead. They hold up a liquor store. They blow up a gas tanker.
Blow up. Yeah. Which part of that did you copy? Lock a cop in the back of a car.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's brilliant.
Do you know what? There's so many good scenes, but they're actually tied together with these two amazing women with that beautiful backdrop.
Oh, yeah. So it's just that part of America you might want to copy of the road trip. Just copy the journey.
Yeah.
I assume that's what people are saying, because it is stunning.
I actually can't remember the last time I sat down and actually actively watched a film from beginning to end and was so involved in it. I usually get distracted and I do different things while I'm watching something. And I was absolutely captivated from beginning to end. I knew it was good. I remember it as being brilliant. I think it's one of the best films I've ever seen, but the two performances just absolutely blew me away on the rewatch.
I agree.
It was just exceptional.
I've got to tell you, I sat down and watched it because I was visiting my parents. So me and my mum obviously totally knew what was going to happen. And we thought, my dad did as well, but halfway through he started going, oh, I don't think they're going to make it to Mexico.
Oh.
Me and Mum are looking at him going, oh, and Mum, don't say a word. Don't say a word. And then he carries on. He's like, oh, they're never going to make I don't think they're going to make it. I don't think they're going to make it to Mexico. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he doesn't know the end.
Oh.
And then when they took off from the cliff together, holding hands, they were right in the air. And there was silence, and he went, what?
Yeah.
I was like, that must be how everyone felt. But I mean, at that point,
I remember watching it in the cinema and being shocked.
You see it coming, though, don't you? When they
drive,
I
remember that.
No, they're going off the cliff. Do you not?
No, because it's very clever, and I remember. The first time I watched it, it was a real shock. They went off the cliff because all they do. Thelma says to Louise, "Let's keep going."
Keep going.
At that point, they've actually swung the car around because I watched how they filmed it. I thought, how do they film it to trick us into thinking they're going to keep going? And actually, you see it when you know what's coming. They actually swing the car around, and the camera angle, they're facing the cops. They swing it around again. It deliberately kind of tricks your eye. Right. So no, when you watch it the first time, you think she means let's keep going. And so when they go off the cliff, that's a real shock. And I actually hate that it's a film about two women basically against the patriarchy, and the only ending for them is to drive their car off a cliff.
Yeah, I know.
Why could they not keep going? Why can't they be in Mexico having their best life? Do you know what I mean?
Yes. I know. I tell you what, my dad's reaction is absolutely priceless, because he absolutely sums up what the whole world would have said and thought the first time they saw it. It was brilliant to witness. Oh, and the fact that he had hope. He had hope for them right till that very last shot. It's heartbreaking. I sort of broke my heart through him because I knew what was going to happen, and I was like, oh my God, you didn't know. You didn't know.
But I also tell you what was interesting. I knew how it ended. It did not stop me rooting for them, thinking, oh, come on, do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's such a clever, well-made film. I loved it. But also, do you know what? I've read quite a lot about it this week. They had 3 of those convertible cars. Wow. They had 3 goes at getting it right. And they said the first time they sent the car off the cliff, it literally just stopped straight away and went down like a stone.
Oh, no.
There is something, when they got the car to fly, even though it's a horrible end and you know they're going to die at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, I do think the way they stop it when they're mid-flight, there is something a bit fantastical about it.
Yeah, it's weirdly euphoric.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like they beat them. They beat the men. And you and I have watched too many prison dramas. We don't want them there.
No.
They don't want that.
No.
So it's like they've defied all of the men. They're free. They're still free.
So they're still in control right at the end. That was their decision.
Yes,
yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we can accept that.
Yes.
Although I do think the biggest flaw is that they took on the men and they had to die. Why couldn't they have just got to the border of Mexico? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's the next film. This had to break the ground.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
Because they paved the way. It's powerful.
It's good though. What are we watching next?
You're watching Mary Poppins.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's a bit of a contrast, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to tell you, but everybody dies.
No. All right, well, I'll see you next week to talk about Mary Poppins.
Oh, brilliant.
All right, have a good week.
Okay, bye.